are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And once again, it's the Anthony and Barnes Show. Tony, how are you? Yours truly.
What is
Anthony,
up, dude?
Anthony. Like the shirt.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, little Rally Kings is a Friday beer shirt. Obviously taking on the LA Kings logo. I am the Rally King. Right.
Yeah, because actually I was going to say, kind of showing that, I don't know what I'm talking about in regards to that shirt. I thought for a second, just quick glance, that it actually was an LA King shirt.
Oh, no.
After the cup and everything,
right.
I know that was so long ago, but.
Yeah, it was forever ago, dude.
But we don't forget.
No, never forget, dude.
But there is so much to get to today. Actually, some NHL offseason we haven't got to talk about. But let's start in baseball first. The world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. A back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray.
There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Cy-Yo, nada, where did that land?
Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right, Tony.
Yours
so
truly.
We had
Anthony.
two New York wins last night.
Hell
just
yeah,
like
baby.
how we like it. And we'll start, of course, with the Yankees here. And obviously, I mentioned big 4-game set this weekend, long series in Boston. And I got the nod, as I was mentioning to you before the show, to go to tomorrow's game.
They're making the call to the bullpen, Brian.
They are making the call to the bullpen. A 4-0 on the season, no road games yet. So interesting task. I'll get Jordan Montgomery tomorrow. And obviously just really looking forward to it. Definitely some redemption for last year's wild card game. But back to last night. So it ended up being a 6-5 victory in favor of the Yankees, and they jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the third inning, courtesy of a Josh Donaldson home run. So all this talk about, Donaldson struggling, but he has answered the bell the last couple games. So he hit the granny in the third, and then right after him, a little back-to-back or belly-to-belly, like John Sterling would say, Aaron Hicks homers as well. So that staked Garrett Cole on the mound to a 5-0 lead. And, it wouldn't be smooth sailing for Cole only because, if you take away, Rafael Devers from this game, Cole would have pitched pretty well. But unfortunately, obviously, he's at the heart of the Red Sox order. And he hit a 2-run homer in the third. Yankees answered back with a Jose Trevino double on a pop-up, kind of a confusing situation, but Hicks ends up scoring to give him a 6-2 lead. But then Devers in the fifth homers to center, a 3-run homer, so 2 home runs off Cole. So Cole's final line last night, 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and of course the 2 Rafi Devers home runs. But if you think about without those home runs, you're looking at 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. So obviously did well with the rest of the lineup. So I know it's very easy. You think about the first start of the season, which he struggled, the wild card game against the Red Sox in Fenway where he struggled. And then this game last night to say, oh, Garrett Cole, this is a sign of concern. He can't pitch in Fenway. And I just think, like I was telling you yesterday, Fenway games are high scoring. It's tough to pitch there. There's avenues to hit the ball out that aren't that far to reach. And I just think it's, no matter what type of stuff you have, he was touching 100 on the gun. He was lights out other than Devers. So I think he'll just be fine. But at the same time, I think it is important, next time out, at Fenway Park, that he has kind of one of those Garrett Cole vintage games. Because I just think there are some doubters out there that think he simply cannot shut down the Red Sox in Fenway Park. But I'm sure he's relishing the opportunity, to get back there. But in another note from this game, Aaron Judge did not play, some lower body soreness. So one of those things, and we've seen this, started really last year, where any slight little thing, even if it's really nothing, they're going to give him a day off. And listen, it's a long season. They have a huge lead in the division. Obviously, I think you don't want to take any chances. So I'm just fine with that. For sure. And obviously the rest of his teammates were able to pick him up. And I just think it's a welcome sign too. Hicks, he had 2 hits the game before, 2 hits last night, including that home run. So it seems like he's coming alive. I mentioned Donaldson. So if you're getting contributions from those guys, I think you're going to do great. And, I think all in all, it's just a great win. Basically your top competition in the division at the moment. Just being how hot the Red Sox have been. So I think you take it any day of the week. And, like they have all season, bullpen answering the bell. Wandy inning and a third, 2 strikeouts.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
1.99 ERA this season, obviously gets the hold. Michael King, 2/3 of an inning, a walk and a strikeout, gets the hold as well, 2.23. And then, of course, Clay Holmes doing his best Mariano impression. 1 inning, 1 strikeout, getting the save, his 16th of the season, 0.47 ERA. So I think at the end of the
Rivera, number 42.
So I think at the end of the day, despite Cole getting dinged up by Devers, I think this was a very positive game for the Yankees. And like I said, just the fact that you're getting contributions from the other guys, I think that's what's important, because those are the games that they've lost in the past, where Judge, Stanton, and Rizzo, who still isn't back in the lineup. And I actually wanted to just take a look here in terms
he has
of
some back issues too, right?
Yeah, back tightness. I just want to see. I hope he's in the lineup Saturday.
The back issues he's had have been pretty I guess pestering him for a while, right? He's had these back issues,
I think, in the past.
And then it's it is tough because Rizzo is how old now?
32.
Obviously, I would imagine they keep pestering him, especially as he gets older, with that type of lingering issue in your back. How'd you feel about DJ though at first?
Yeah, what do you mean though?
Well, he went 0-for-4 last night.
Oh yeah, but he had 3 or 4 hits the game before, Tony.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying,
but you know what it is? I think everybody loses sight of this a lot. It's just, if baseball, you could be one of the premier you could be one of the premier players in the league. You're going to fail 65 to 70% of the time, when it comes to hitting. And I think that's why it's he went 0-for-3, but it's got to look at the big picture. I think you know what I mean.
No, yeah, I'm just saying though, would you be a little nervous if Rizzo, has this potential issue with his back?
Would you mind if I gave everyone an update on the injury? I'm just reading.
I would not mind, dude.
So as with Judge's condition, Rizzo said he'd play through the issue if this were a playoff game. He has improved with rest and treatment since his last game. I've dealt with this in years past. I just feel like we've been ahead of it big time, of the lower back tightness he experienced with the Cubs. The normal recovery period is 6 to 8 days, said Rizzo, who does not believe his condition will require a stint on the IL. So asked if he anticipates being in the lineup this weekend, Rizzo said, I'd like to think so. So maybe they give him 1 more day, and then perfect timing Saturday. I'd love to see him wrap one around the pesky pole. I believe he did go deep in the wild card game last year as well. So listen, you're going to have bumps and bruises, and luckily, the Yankees do have a lot of depth. So I think that's why you just play it safe. And at the end of the day, 6-5 is 6-5. And, in the past, there's definitely been some struggles with the Red Sox at times. So it's nice to kind of be setting the tone here. And I think winning this opening game of the series definitely, sets them up to take 3 out of 4 here. I just think it's all right in front of them. You got to do it. Nasty Nestor on the hill tonight. We'll get to that game in a second, but just pumped to see that and pumped for the game tomorrow. But before we get to the Mets, Tony, any other comments or just kind of thoughts of this 6-5 win over the Red Sox for the Yankees?
I would say that I think, people who just look at Garrett Cole's line from last night may not be impressed, but regardless, to what you were saying, Brian, he did pitch a really good game if you actually did watch him. And, the Yankees just played, some really good, just fundamental baseball. I think, Torres had a stolen base. They played good defense. that was a good gritty win. And I don't know about you. Well, I do know about Brian. He said that they would win 7-5, and yeah, 6-5 is right there. And this is against a Red Sox team who is hot right now, who's really good. So I mean, it wasn't like they were playing the Orioles or the Tigers or something. They gritted out a good win against a good team. And there's really not much you can say in terms of holes in their level of play right now.
And what's nice to think about, the fact that, let's say this game was played earlier in the year, last year, Yankees lose this game because who blows it? 1-run lead in Fenway Park. You're telling me Chapman locks it down? No way.
Where is Chapman?
No, he's pitched. He's had 3 appearances off the IL. He had the 3 walker on Saturday as part of that doubleheader.
Is he gone come trade deadline or what, dude?
I would like to think yes, but I would say no. But I just think, if it were you, Tony, what would honestly be your call? Obviously he's got the expiring contract, but just the damage that he's done to the Yankee fan over the past couple of years in the big spot, specifically in the playoffs, like I just don't know how much value or just confidence you'd have in him in a big spot in a playoff game. So I just feel like if you don't feel comfortable pitching him, what's the point of him being on the team?
No, I totally agree, especially like with the way Clay Holmes has been pitching this season. And like you said, Chapman has burnt the Yankees, I think, one too many times. Personally, I would get rid of him. I think he would have some good trade value. Maybe, and I know, Gallo is cranked one every so often, but maybe trade him for another left fielder, something like that, or maybe just like a utility player, just in case there is some type of injury, which the Yankees have been very fortunate this season, I feel, with staying healthy. So I would get rid of him, but maybe the Yankees are thinking if Clay Holmes is kind of rocky, come playoff time or something like that, they can call on Chapman. And maybe have a better shot or some more confidence in him just due to his experience. But that's the only reason why I would think maybe they don't trade him. But I would get rid of him.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many other options in the bullpen.
It's ridiculous.
I would rather have. So it's kind of tough to see. But if I had to guess, I say they hang on to him. One other thing I was trying to look up here, and I don't know if I can get anything on it. Okay, so let's see. That was. I'm just gonna give a little injury update here. This was from NewJersey.com. Let's see.
NewJersey.gov.
Okay, so Domingo Germán expected back soon. So this is 4 days ago. After being out all season, Loaizaga figures to be right behind him, and it's still looking good for Zach Britton, Tony, a guy that you definitely forgot about, to return from Tommy John surgery later this season.
You think an increased velocity off of Tommy John?
I guess by default, but yet again,
yeah.
I guess though, if I had to say something,
you do.
In a big spot, I would feel more comfortable with Britton than Chapman, but I still wouldn't feel that comfortable.
No, not at all, dude.
Because I just think pretty much, other than maybe, the last guy or two, let's say Ryan Weber, he's been designated back and forth, all this. Somebody like that, somebody like maybe like Albert Abreu, I would say that I would feel more comfortable with Britton. But other than that, give me Wandy Peralta, give me Michael King, just so much more of a comfort level with anybody else than those two guys. And especially, Britton working his way back into the mix late in the year. I just feel like it's going to be tough. And you know my frustrations with him last year, just in terms of dancing around the strike zone and stuff. So not really looking forward to that. But I think Jonathan Loaizaga, who did struggle, but I think part of that was injury earlier this year, I think he can be a key cog in this bullpen. And especially with how well the other guys have performed, I think Loaizaga could be your 6th inning guy. And I think taking pressure off of Loaizaga, I think he could be great, because last year he was one of the best relievers in the American League.
Do you think they move Chapman to more of a setup piece?
Yeah, I mean, I think 8th inning is even pushing it with Chapman, because it just, he walked one guy, and I really feel like the whole,
come on,
we're talking the fans, we're talking the team. the guys in the field, I feel like Morales just killed one walk or even first pitch way over the, over the catcher's head.
Oh my
just
gosh.
instantly you're freaking out
Yeah.
and you feel like you're fucked.
Yeah. And you are.
So that's just kind of my thoughts, but it's going to be interesting to see, what they do. Herman, I think he's going to be a reliever. I don't think there's room for him to be a starter, and he's a guy that could be moved, for somebody, but also, with Chapman and anybody else that they trade, I would like to see them actually, unless it's going to be part of a bigger package, because I think straight up, you're not going to get anybody that good. I think you almost might be better off just getting prospects and just getting more talent into this system, and just using, because I think there's enough reinforcements there. And then if you want to get a big name, there's been a lot of talk about Brian Reynolds, who a guy I haven't mentioned really, but I think he would also be good for the Mets as well. We saw how well he performed in that quick series with the Yankees. So I think there's major league options out there for sure.
It's looking pretty bright for the Yankees, huh?
You love it, Tony. Come on.
No, it's nice.
But I know you also love a big Mets victory last night. Give me something.
Oh, yeah, dude. So Mets obviously were at home last night against Miami, who, past few weeks, the lead they had in the NL East has dwindled down to 2.5 games. And, they strung along, a few good wins here, against the Reds and everything like that, and against Texas and stuff. But they really need to kind of, we talked about them getting momentum, getting some good at-bats from everyone in the lineup, which is what happened last night. They won 10-0 against Miami. Trevor Williams, dude, you got to mention him because he threw 7 scoreless innings. I think had 7 Ks, only 2 hits. He was just absolutely on fire from the get-go. I think he retired 3 out of the first 5 batters with strikeouts. And, it was just really, I guess, pleasant to see because, I mentioned yesterday he was coming off a really tough start against Texas where I think he lasted like 3 2/3, gave up 5 earned runs. And, we know how Trevor Williams is. We talked about him all season. He's just not really that reliable. Obviously, you wouldn't think he's a go-to guy. I mean, you're debating on whether he's better than David Peterson, I feel, which, isn't really that good of a comparison to be making for anyone. But nonetheless, I mean, he threw a phenomenal game. And then, we scored 10 runs, Brian, which was actually phenomenal. Started, early in the 3rd inning. Brennan Nimmo had a nice double. JD Davis was on base. He scored. And then, we saw some nice base running with Lindor, a real hustle play, I think, from him. And yeah, Miami made some fielding errors, but I mean, you see these guys who, they hit a ground ball, a lot of guys just don't even dig it out. But, you saw Lindor last night really digging it out, reaching on base off of like an infielder error and stuff like that. And then, you got to mention James McCann because the past few days we're talking about the lack of offense from our catching position. And, the past 2 games, McCann has had some big hits. And yeah, they were up, 3-0 against Miami. It was the 4th inning when he had a 3-run homer. And it's like, you're up 3-0, you're feeling good, I suppose. But I mean, it's still a ball game. And McCann really just shut the door on any type of comeback that Miami could make. Because at that point, 3-run homer, it's 6-0. And you're feeling super comfortable against Miami at that point. And then Davis homered after that. He had the grand slam. JD Davis had the grand slam, which I feel like I have not said in my lifetime. Which is great out of that. And you're getting just great at bats. From what you call it, JD Davis was DH last night. And again, we talked about, the DH spot not really being that great. Yeah, since Dom Smith has been back, he's been good. But I mean, he's had some hard hits. I forget the stat on his like hard hit, whatever that stat is. But it's like, yeah, he hits the ball hard, but a lot of them are flyouts, to deep center. He would much rather, I'm sure, want a bloop single than to get a flyout. But nonetheless, it was really impressive to see. And then, in terms of Trevor Williams being successful, he again, we saw a Met pitcher lean on the defense. You saw Lindor make a phenomenal middle infield play, diving for a hard line drive that would have been an extra base hit. But he dives cool, calm, composed, collected, just gets up, and he beats Garcia, their right field, Miami's right fielder, who's a speedy player, mind you, but he beats him out to first base, getting the out. And then you saw Nimmo with just a phenomenal over-the-shoulder catch in center field. I mean, running right up against the wall, basically, which, of course, would have been another extra base hit. And, I mean, in terms of Brennan Nimmo, I feel like, improving upon his center field play. I mean, it's been really good. And a catch like that to save, extra bases, possibly some RBIs, that's those type of games, really keep them in the game in terms of having the ability to win. And then on top of that, you get everyone just kind of super psyched. You saw the whole bench, the dugout was riled up. Nimmo made that catch, and then that translates into more confident at bats, more scoring, and I think it was just great to see because it was a good mix of just getting runners on base, bringing them in with singles, and then some nice home runs as well. And it was just a phenomenal way for the Mets to kind of continue this momentum going into obviously the rest of Miami's series. But then when we play Atlanta, and of course, it's always good that Atlanta lost last night. St. Louis finally got a game in. So, our lead is back to 3.5 games. And I think it's just a good indication in terms of, how many different ways the Mets could score on you. And then, of course, when their pitching is going, I mean, it seems to be pretty lights out. I know Trevor Williams isn't as consistent. It's not like, I'm not like, oh my God, Trevor Williams is great now. Just like I said yesterday with Ottavino, I think Williams will have to, string together a few good starts for me to being like, oh, wow, like he's making improvements. This is a guy we can kind of go to, you can kind of count on. You can be confident, if he's pitching, in the playoffs. But yeah, dude, it was just a phenomenal win.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really setting the tone and obviously giving, the home crowd something to cheer about. So, anytime you can get a shutout, you're going to take it. And
oh yeah,
grand slam, 3 hits from JD Davis. I mean, you hope that, he can sustain that somewhat, as well as only 3.5, pretty scary. Yours truly, Michael Theophil, Tony.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of bogus for Mike, honestly. I think 3.5 games is what, keeps the Mets honest, honestly. It's not like, oh, we can sit our best player. Oh, no, man, we got games, whatever. I think it's keeping them concentrated, focused, honest, and obviously, knowing that the lead was dwindling, a lot of players stepped up. You saw Kana get a few hits finally. I mentioned McCann, and Marte has been continuing his hits. 294 average. And also, dude, I know I was knocking his defense. He made a really good throw from right field. I forget who it was on Miami, but this must have been like the 7th inning. It was like a hard line drive hit up, center, right center. McNeil tried to make a diving play, hit the ball, ricochet. Marte with the speed was on it, picks the ball up, and whoever the batter was tried to stretch a single into a double and just absolutely threw a dart to Lindor at second, got the guy out. And, I feel like that's an aspect of Marte's game we haven't really seen much of, was his defense. And that was a really good play from him. As Michael says, until they are down 2.5. Well, Michael, if you were listening, they were down 2.5 last night, and they came out big. And now they're only, it's 3.5. He also says, then 1.5, then a half a game. Mets lose the league. IDK, I've seen it before from the Mets. Just saying, doesn't seem far-fetched. No, it doesn't seem far-fetched. And I've been knocking, the sportscasters, specifically over at ESPN Radio, who are saying, oh my God, the NL East run is over. That's totally hogwash. However, what they do talk about, which I do appreciate, is how this is a different Met team. We have, I think the best manager in the game right now. We have a tremendous, clubhouse attitude. We have a lot of, hitters kind of, hitting their stride right now, it seems. And of course, with Scherzer back, clearly he is back with that, with his last outing, and then DeGrom, looking to follow shortly. I'm really not going to have, I think, much of a problem here.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there definitely is some reason to be concerned. So, I mean, I definitely agree with Michael. I mean, I could easily see that happening, but, they do deserve some credit for the way they've played. And one thing I feel like I haven't really got to ask you this, because I'm always the one, honestly, bringing the brunt of these type of comments. But I mean, just generally speaking, Tony, I mean, How do you Mets fans? I feel like you manage so well all like the heat you take. I mean, how do you do it like with such a good attitude? I feel like it's got to be tough because I feel like we're always coming at you, we're always doubting you, and just always kind of just jabbing you a little bit. I mean, how are you able to just take it so well? Honestly?
Right. Well, it is tough, specifically, obviously, from Yankee fans as well, is really what most of the jabs come from. But I would say it's a combination of knowing, having lower expectations coming into every season. I know that kind of sounds funny, but I think Mets fans are just, in theory, happy with any little improvements. And I feel like, with especially the past few years with Cohen becoming the owner and everything like that. I mean, yeah, for me, I kind of thought like, Cohen coming in, obviously, big mouth, big wallet. I did kind of expect it to take, I would say, 3 years, honestly, for him to kind of adjust to being, as Michael says, years of losing, Barnes. It helps. Years of losing, LOL, loser mentality.
I feel
LOL.
like me and Michael just are so parallel with where our thinking when it comes to the Mets.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I think Mike just kind of feeds into it, into you, really, I should say. But yeah, I think it's something with patience. The thing about Yankees fans is that it's like, oh, we got like a million World Series, and oh, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, we'll get all the history, and oh, come here and cut your hair. And I think that for Yankees fans, because they have the team on such a pedestal, it's win or bust every year for you guys. I feel if regardless of how good this season is, which it is going really well, obviously first team to 60 wins in 83 games, right? They're 60 and 23. If you guys don't win the World Series, I mean, it's all for shit, pretty much. It's not even no.
But for the first time,
no,
Tony,
no.
no. I know you know this. For the first time, though, you could kind of say the same for the Mets. Sure, like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's way different than the Rangers this year. Way different. There's so many more expectations.
No, yeah, I mean, I think there is, but I would say like my mentality with Cohen being the owner, like, yeah, it was like, okay, he wants to win right now. I would say for me, it was year 3 with Cohen would be this is a do or die type of year. Because the first year, he's never owned a team before. First year is all right. Let's assess what we have. Big learning year, and then make some off-season moves, which he did. And then second year is, well, this is my plan. Let's see how it works out. Third year is making the adjustments to his plan and kind of fine-tuning. And year 3 is really going to be the year where it's like, all right, this is where we're gonna like be confident and kind of have the pressure of it's time for Cohen to bring home a World Series. So I mean that's one thing, and then I don't know, maybe if it's just me personally, I mean I would imagine there's a lot of Mets fans. I mean you talk about like someone like Dave Rothenberg, who it's like crying every loss or whatever. I don't know. I guess I'm just more positive about it than most, but I mean I feel like this year specifically, I feel like we're in a better position than we've ever been in. And I think that, this series against the Braves is going to really show how good the Mets are. And I think this series is going to put a lot of confidence in Mets fans in terms of what we can do in the postseason.
So I think kind of to sum it up, what I'm getting from you, Tony, is that the reason why, especially right now, you're able to take these type of comments and jabs so good is just the fact that you feel like sooner rather than later, they're going to take care of business. And then it's like, what is everybody else going to say? So you're just like, you'll wait till that moment to kind of get your piece in. I mean, is that kind of how you feel?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, let's say, this season, let's say it is a Subway Series World Series and the Mets do win.
Yeah. I mean, that's just one of those things. I mean, there's no, you know what it's like? If there is if somebody tries an excuse, that's like saying, you go out in the golf course, you shoot 120 and the sun was in my eyes all day. No. The sun was in your eyes. You couldn't play today. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's like, yeah. So there's no excuses. I mean, you hit it on the head there both ways, obviously. You know what I mean? It's just what happens on the field, the ice, the court. It's all the same. So It's going to be a fun summer, nevertheless, Tony. And I'm just really looking forward to it. So close to getting to Dodger Stadium for that All-Star game. That's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Have we heard anything about Alonso in the Derby?
No.
What's your guess?
I can look it up. I say he does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go 3-time champ. Join Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome, dude.
Trying to think. Oh, and Cespedes, maybe? I know Cespedes was at least twice, I think.
Issues challenge to fans over home run derby participation.
Special condition.
What did you see? Special condition.
Second one.
27-year-old participated in the derby for the third time in his young career if the fans vote him as a National League starting first baseman. There we go.
But I think Goldie looks like he's gonna get it.
I know that's really tough.
But
dude.
Goldie deserves it, you know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
I
I gotta plug in my laptop charger.
Oh yeah, no problem. But it's tough though because I think they've upped the prize money recently. So obviously you have that kind of luring guys in, but I think also just the grind of a long season, especially if you're one of those guys too who's not sitting out every other game. And I think Alonso, if I'm not mistaken, plays most of the Mets games. So it's just like it is a thing you have to prepare for. It takes a lot out of you. Not everybody's all-star break this year because of makeup games from the cancellation of the first 2 weeks of this season is as long as it normally would be. So when you factor in those type of things, you kind of understand why some certain guys, kind of want to just rest up, re-gear for the second half stretch, and not participate in the home run derby. Obviously, you want to see the best guys. So I would love nothing more, to see Vladdy there. To see Alonso, to see Judge, of course, to see Rizzo, that would be something. And I'll be interested to see too, not that he's, I think from a power perspective, having that great of a year, but like, I would be just curious because of the home field scenario. If we get Freddie Freeman in this home run derby, and especially too, after what he's endured with the whole Atlanta situation, I'm sure there's some Dodger fans are saying, wait, does this guy appreciate being with us? Is he one of us? Why is he still thinking about them? The deal is done. So maybe he wants to kind of try to win them back. I kind of think we're going to see Freddie Freeman in this home run derby. Any thoughts there, Anthony?
I would think most definitely, honestly. In terms of him being in the home run derby. I mean, I think I don't know. Was he in it last year?
I don't
think so, right?
So
2 years ago,
Gallo was. I know but I think at some point Freeman was in the home run derby.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I think too, even if Alonso doesn't get voted, which like you said, I think he'll do it anyway too.
Yeah. He's kind of just yanking everyone's chain.
Yeah, I think so.
But let's get to it, Tony. Last night you went 3-1. I went 2-2. Last day of picks. So it looks like it's going to be hibachi and a Gaetano sandwich for you, my friend. But let's play out the string. And I believe Friday night, plenty of games. So 4 apiece. Give me something, sir.
All right, dude. Let's look at the games here. What'd I go last night? You said
3-1.
Damn, the fucking Mets.
Yep.
What'd you go?
2-2.
Fuck. All right. Let's see tonight. Yeah, no, I can't believe the Braves lost. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna lose again, especially when they're playing against Washington. Yeah, I guess Charlie Morton on the mound against. Oh my god, dude, guess who's on the mound for the Nationals? Our guy for the Nationals, Fetty. Unbelievable. But yeah, give me Atlanta. I know it's I would like them to lose for sure, but I can't see them losing against the Nationals. Especially with the way the Nationals have been playing. And again, Eric Fetty, I want to look at his record actually. It was 5-5. Interesting. I kind of feel like every time we talked about him, it was a loss for him.
Right. Well, just because it's a loss for the Nationals.
Yeah, true. So let's they just lost to Philly 5-3. There's no way the Braves are going to be losing this game, I feel. Dansby Swanson, salami.
I think he's due for one.
I think he is kind of due for one. So give me the Atlanta here. I'd say 5-0.
Wow.
Simple, easy.
Nobody getting hurt.
No, nobody getting hurt, dude.
So I did mention Nasty Nestor, on the mound. Couple rough starts, but really shut everybody down last start, I believe, against Cleveland. So anyway, he's opposed by Connor Seabald, first season from Laguna Hills, California. 0-1, 8.31 ERA, limited action. Just listen, I know it's one of those things where technically, could go either way because we've seen the Yankees, unknown name. They don't have a lot of footage on the guy. They struggle. But I just have a feeling Nasty Nestor in Fenway, you know what I mean? He's one of those guys you say, oh, I'm sure everyone's going to be heckling us. Let's show them up. Let's show them why we're the best team in Major League Baseball. And I think that's what he does in the form of 6 1/3, 2 earned, 8 strikeouts, 4 hits, 1 walk. And I think we're going to see Stanton over the Green Monster, as well as Josh Donaldson again, Tony.
Really?
And then throwing Gleyber Torres. He had 2 hits last night. I'm really pumped for Gleyber.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a guy who's, I know he's not 21 anymore, but just he's somewhat younger. So it's nice to have that. You know what I mean? I feel like we have a lot of guys that are over 30. So
Another stolen base too?
Give him 2 stolen bases.
Let's go, baby.
It's awesome, man. I don't understand. Do you think we're gonna see more teams like the Yankees? You've seen it. It doesn't matter who's on the base. They're going just based on situation, reads from the pitcher. We don't see really every team do that, but Rizzo's stealing a bunch of bases, and
we see the Yankees doing it. LA Angels do it too with Ohtani.
But and it's the same thing too with like tagging up on stuff like make the defense make the throws, because it's like we can't forget that not everybody's an all-star caliber Gold Glove outfielder. And
even so, like if you start doing that, I mean, I feel like you're gonna get inside players' heads where they're gonna be like, maybe a fly out to center, easy catch, but he's gonna be thinking, second I catch this ball, I have to rifle it to second base. And he may be second guessing himself. He may not look at the ball for the final second, trying to look to see where the runner is. He's going to be second guessing what he has to do. And you're going to make some players force some errors, I feel, if you put that pressure on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're also going to get contributions from DJ LeMahieu. Maybe Matt Carpenter gets a start, wraps one around the pesky pole. So a lot of offense. Give me Yankees 7-3.
All right.
Nestor picking up the W. And, just a lot to like in terms of the Yankees here. So that's what I got for pick number 1. What do you have for pick number dose?
For dose, I'm going with the Mets, honestly. Give me the Mets. Chris Bassett on the mound. He's off of the COVID list right now. And I don't know if you've been hearing how upset he's been that he's on the COVID list for so long. And even, people made comments about how, most players in the MLB, when they had COVID, they were on for 3 to 5 days, and that was it. I'm not sure how long he was on, but it feels like probably 10 days or more. And he was getting pretty tight because he wasn't showing any symptoms. It was like he was testing negative, but they still wouldn't let him play for whatever protocol reason. And I would imagine he's coming out tonight, excited to play, and also pretty angry and dialed in, I feel like, with his pitching. So I would expect a good outing from him. I would say give me 7 innings, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, 2 walks, off of 3 hits. And then I think Alonso, I feel like, is due for a big home run. Maybe 5th inning, 3-run homer to put the Mets up 3-0 at that point in the 5th. And then, maybe let's get JD Davis, continuing his hit streak. Marte as well. I say the Mets take this one. I'll say 6-2.
All right. So another victory for the New York Mets.
Keep it rolling, especially with Atlanta winning tonight. You got to get a win.
I am going to Cincinnati, and while there hasn't been much to watch there this season, we do have a good pitching matchup tonight between Shane McClanahan and Luis Castillo. And Castillo is a guy that you would really circle and you would expect to be moved before the deadline. A lot of contending teams would love to add them to their rotation. And I look at this and I just think the Rays will handle this. And the way I see it going is, I think McClanahan and Castillo duel it out for 6 innings. I don't think there's any runs scored. So then we go, let's see. So it would be the top of the 7th. Reds go to the bullpen. I think Tampa tacks on 2 or 3 runs through the 7th and 8th inning, and then maybe in the 9th tack on one more. And I just think this Reds offense against this Tampa pitching, no chance. 4-0 Tampa Bay. Rosarena getting that power stroke back, adds a home run as well as a stolen base, and McClanahan strikes out 10, picking up his 10th victory of the season. Rays to get the job done.
Love it. All right. Next game, I'm going to go to St. Louis. The Cardinals, struggled a little bit against against the Braves here. They're playing now the Phillies. Zach Wheeler, our guy, former Met great, on the mound here against Adam Wainwright. So actually, really good pitching matchup. I really like it. But I feel like Zach Wheeler may have a little bit of the edge here. And I feel like, the Cardinals will kind of struggle a little bit, batting against him. And on that note, I think Kyle Schwarber, 2 home runs.
Unbelievable.
I'll say the Phillies take this one. I'll say 4-1.
Before last year's Renaissance, did you think he was dead in the water?
Yeah,
Me
absolutely.
too. Unbelievable. All right. So let's see. For my next pick here, I am going to go with the Minnesota Twins, my old buddy, Sonny Gray on the hill.
Pretty good pitcher, dude.
Facing his long-lost brother, John Gray, of the Rangers here. And Twins, have had a good year. 9 over 500, Rangers 6 under. So disappointing after that big spending. Oh, jeez. Man, just put the timestamp down now, Tony. Spending spree this offseason. And I just think the Twins offensively, I like what they're doing here. So I think they'll put some runs up tonight. I think Gray will go 7, maybe allowing 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, 4 hits, 1 walk. And we are going to see Buxton leave the building as well. Give me the Twins 7-2.
Okay. Next game, there's a lot of good games tonight, honestly. I guess I'll take the Giants tonight. They're playing in San Diego against the Padres. And who's on the mound for the Padres? It's Blake Snell, who has not had a win yet this season.
0-5. 6 ERA?
0-5. It is at a 5.13 right now.
Only good start was against the Dodgers.
Yeah. I think he went like 6 and
struck out like 10.
10, yeah, 2 and run, something like that. I feel like even though obviously we know what he could be capable of, but the fact of it remains that he just has not been performing, up to Blake Snell standards, I feel. And because of that, I feel like the Giants are just gonna hit on him, dude. Jock Peterson leading the team, 17 home runs. I know it's not like, oh my God, 17, but I think for Jock Peterson, I think that's good for him. And I would say he has another dinger tonight. And of course, you got to talk about, Wilmer Flores as well at third base here. 41 RBIs leading the team. Maybe like a nice 2 RBI double for him. Blake Snell, last 5 innings, they go into their bullpen, doesn't really hold it down. I would say Giants win this one 5-3.
Yeah, I agree.
As we have a few comments here, by the way. Michael C. Theofil, nothing like the power stroke.
Of
he
course.
Says.
Good morning.
My mother
fellas.
says good morning. Michael says former Met great, said no one ever. Not true. Michael C. Theofil also says big spreading of the spree, baby.
Let's go, and good to have you with us, Mary. So 4th and final here. Cubs hosting the Dodgers.
There we go.
Tyler Anderson on the hill, Tony. How did this happen?
No idea.
9-1, 3.09 ERA this season. And you look at his previous years, other than his rookie year in 2016, with the Rockies, his ERA has been at least 4.37.
Yeah,
but in 84 innings, he's got a 3.09. And he's just winning ball games. 9 wins, already a career high, only 15 starts. His career high in starts made is 32. So it's just been that type of year for him.
It's crazy.
So I'm impressed. There's no 2 ways about it. And slightly under a strikeout in an inning, but pretty good whip at 106. So like what he brings to the table. And talk about, the table, setting the table. I feel like tonight, Trey Turner, 4 for 5, hitting for the cycle, Tony.
Oh, wow.
5 RBIs, 3 stolen bases as well. So really starring in this one. We'll say Cody Bellinger wakes up and puts one out. So I think, Wrigley's going to be rocking with Dodger fans tonight. Oh, actually, never mind. Not
they're in
Wrigley.
LA, right?
in LA. But nevertheless, Tony, does it really matter where they're playing? Because at the end of the day, Thompson for the Chicago shirt, 3.41 ERA this year, not against the Dodgers.
I know. And we know there'll be Dodgers fans there. So.
Exactly. So Dodgers at home take care of business 7-1 here.
Love it, dude.
So that's what we got for a baseball segment.
Are you willing to make a bet on it if Cody hits a homer?
Yeah, double it down on that Gaetano sandwich.
Really? All right, let's go. 2-0. Gaetano's.
Done. But you owe me a chips and drink.
Let's go. Oh, chips and drink. Yeah, dude. That's obviously, for me, honestly, that's kind of implied. Because if you get a sandwich, you got to get chips and a drink.
Exactly.
Let's go. Encore. Here we come, huh?
Yes, definitely pumped, for the weekend. And of course, I'll shoot you guys some videos over, in the works of it all. And I think we're just going to see some great baseball this weekend. And we'll talk about it on Monday. But as we haven't in a while, Tony, let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
In they come. Edmonds, what a save by Vasilevsky. Are you kidding me?
McAvoy, Frederick, did you get the license plate number on that truck? McDavid, beautiful move.
You just knew that Connor McDavid was going to make a statement. What a goal.
All right. Tony. So we actually have some moves going on this NHL offseason. We did mention McDonough, was traded the other day to the Predators. That kind of started things off. But the Rangers make a trade yesterday, sending backup goalie Alexander Georgiev to the Colorado Avalanche. So kind of set off like a series of moves after that in terms of what both teams are thinking. So they do get 3 draft picks, including 2 in this year's draft, which just started yesterday, and then 1 next season. So, Anthony, your instant reaction to Georgiev going to Colorado and me losing the ability to ask you if it's going to be a Gorgie game.
I'm sure you'll still ask me next season, dude. Honestly, for me, I'm definitely sad to see him go. But I mean, we've talked about the Rangers, having these really good backup goalies and, eventually offloading them to some other team for cap space, for picks, for prospects, stuff like that. Excuse me. And we got 2 draft picks this season. I think a 2nd and a 5th rounder, and then a 3rd rounder for next season. And, people were a little, I guess, skeptic or kind of critical of Drury's decision here. But the fact of it is that, Georgiev is going to be a free agent, and, offloading him for getting something for his value was definitely a must-need thing to do in this offseason. And, of course, freeing up that cap space was pretty huge. And you would expect that because that cap space is freed up, they're going to try and maybe sign some other free agent. There's quite a few free agents out there. One of them being Evgeny Malkin, who seems pretty certain he won't be on Pittsburgh next season.
Could you see it?
Yeah, I could definitely see it, dude. He would definitely look good in a Rangers jersey. And I think he would do a lot for the Rangers, especially, teaching these young guys who we would love to continue to get some good experience, some nice tutelage from some veterans. And Evgeny Malkin is certainly the guy to do it. So it should be interesting to see maybe what moves they do with this cap space now freed up. So I like it. I like the offload. Georgiev is a great goalie. Mike's a big fan of his, and I think he could be a starting goalie for a different team. And I think he eventually will make it there. We saw Antti Raanta do well, who's a former Ranger backup, obviously Cam Talbot as well. both goalies doing really well in the league. Cam Talbot, obviously, with the Wild, and then Antti Ranta with Carolina, who we saw in the playoffs. He had a phenomenal series against us, and it should be interesting. The only thing I'm worried about is who our backup is going to be, because Kincaid over there, Keith, is just not going to cut it. So maybe there's some I don't know, other goalie they plan on either drafting to kind of then teach under Shesterkin. So we'll see. We'll see, dude. But yeah, I'm happy with it.
And I mentioned it to you. So any chance, because I guess he is still under contract. I don't believe that it's anything crazy, as Michael says, Bulgaria, Gorgie, in reference to Gorgiev, growing up in Bulgaria. Hockey
Rusey,
already.
My
your
mother
says.
I know, it's crazy.
But any chance? We'll give me a percentage on them swinging a low key trade for Cam Talbot to be the backup.
0.
Really?
Yeah, no way.
Who do you see them pursuing?
Well, I know the draft started last night.
You can't draft a guy and then have him be your backup, no? Like right off the gate like that?
Yeah, you certainly can, dude. Especially if it's like a highly touted, goalie prospect. You certainly could, especially for a backup,
But I feel like, though, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm just guessing. Since you've been watching the Rangers, have they ever done that? Starting the season, rookie, no AHL, right into the crease.
No, I don't think so. Because when Talbot left, I believe Antti Ranta was with the Wolfpack at the time. But even so, if they kind of sit on him in AHL and then just bring him up when they think they're going to need him, it's definitely possible. As Michael is saying, what if backup goalie to get him a ring, the King of New York comes back?
I feel like Michael loves talking about these hypotheticals.
He does, just like you, Brian. I would imagine Henrik would be more than happy to be playing. He would rather be playing than doing any type of intermission report, I'm sure. However, health-wise, could he do it? I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking that he could.
Yeah, because I feel like if there was a chance, he would be doing that. I mean, Henrik Lundqvist is a phenomenal competitor, great athlete, obviously one of the best goaltenders to be in the game. It would be nice, honestly, to get him that cup. Imagine backup. I think it's possible, but I mean, what if Shesterkin goes down? I mean, we saw him. I think 2 years ago he was in an unfortunate car accident, broken rib. Georgiev played like a 10-game skid there. I don't think Henrik could, handle that.
Yeah, you got to have somebody who's ready to go.
Wishful thinking, Michael.
So it'll be interesting to see who they bring in to kind of solidify the proverbial egg. Who do they bring in to solidify that backup tender position?
Mike Smith.
It's so funny you say that. I was actually thinking that.
You're always thinking Mike Smith. Hold on, we have a caller calling in here. Let's see. Hey, good morning. You're on the sports board. What do you want to talk about?
Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah. What about Henrik?
I'm reading an article right now. I've read 3. He wants a return to the NHL. He's just been waiting for the perfect opportunity to come back. Here it is. Oh my gosh. New York. Fire up!
What a lovely call, Michael. I would like it. I would really like it. It should be interesting to see if that could happen. I mean, but again, you talk about getting rid of Georgiev to free up cap space. I would imagine you're filling that all up with Henrik. He would need to just, have to be a situation where he just wants to play for New York for the love of New York. Not really get. I mean, obviously you can't pay him like he would get paid when he was in the league. That'd be ridiculous. So we'll see, dude. It would be a shame, honestly, if he goes to any other team. I was heartbroken, honestly, when he went to Washington and was going to be their starter. But obviously we know what happened there. But yeah, I would love to see him in the league. With just in the league, healthy would be great, because obviously he holds a pretty special place in every Rangers fan's hearts. So it would be cool, dude. It would
Yeah.
be pretty sweet.
Cool, but unlikely. But who knows? Michael's hit these, ideas on the head.
Michael says it'll be
before.
for free. Kindness of his heart. I don't think so, man.
You know what? I just was looking up because I was a little confused. The Rangers not having all their draft picks. I cannot believe. I'm not saying he's a terrible player by any means, but the fact that they traded their first round pick for Kopp.
For Andrew Kopp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a head scratcher, no?
I know. And it was a shame because Kopp came in so hot, too. And in the playoffs, he just wasn't really performing. I think he had maybe a couple goals.
Whoa, Tony. On screen here, I mean, I could be reading this wrong, but I think you just had a flashback of being like tight about the way that the season ended. Am I wrong?
Yeah, a little bit. Why did I look evil?
No, you're just like uneasy, like talking about it. I could just see like you were thinking about the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean it was a tough loss, dude.
Do you feel though that as much as physically possible that you've recovered from the loss at this point? I mean, obviously it's been a good amount of time.
It's been a while.
Doing well.
Mets have been, I'm definitely on the baseball train again. And it's like Colorado won, good for them. They certainly deserved it. And yeah, dude. I mean, I will get him next year.
What do you think about Colorado? Looks like committing to Gorgie as their starter.
I think it's pretty probable, if you ask me. I know, there was obviously, and especially from you, and I'm sure more Rangers fans as well, we're a little bit soft on him from some of his starts this season. But the fact remains that he had a great playoff skid the season before when Shesterkin was out. And I did mention when Shesterkin had that broken rib from the car accident. It seems that the more playing time that Georgiev gets, the better he is, as with many goalies. So, I feel like if they utilize him, more and get him, more looks between the pipes, he's going to be better. And I think he could, beat out Darcy for the starting goalie spot for sure. Darcy being.
What do you think about Masaryk going to the Blackhawks?
That's pretty interesting. And then they got Fleury back, right?
Yes.
I mean, that is going to be honestly.
No. I'm sorry. No. Fleury is with the Wild.
Oh, he went back. Yeah, he was with the Wild.
Yeah.
I think Mrazek is. I mean, I don't know. He was Toronto's backup, right? So, I mean, obviously, Chicago had a pretty, I guess, big hole in terms of their goaltending. For a while now, it seems like even when they had Corey Crawford, he was a phenomenal goalie, but he's just riddled with injuries. And then, with Fleury kind of not really producing like they expected. I don't know. I mean, Mrazek is a good goalie, but I don't think he's your everyday starter.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, what they do there. Just in terms of their starting goalie. And then, I mean...
Oh, we got another caller. Good morning. You're on the sports...
Breaking news. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to be like, oh, this is the breaking news.
All right. That happened 26 minutes ago. We're NHL, baby, right? Call me the fucking answer. So, Washington trades Vitek Vanecek and a 2022 46 overall pick, baby, to the New Jersey Devils.
Wow. Very, very informative.
That is breaking news right there, dude. Vanek is their goalie, right?
Yes. Yep. He was 20, 12, and 6. 908 save percentage. Great opportunity to be the starter with the Devils, as only Mackenzie Blackwood seems to be in his way.
Oh, yeah, dude. Blackwood, are you kidding me?
What do you think about the Red Wings acquiring the Vieli Husso?
Husso?
Yeah, from the Blues.
I like Husso.
So you think good move?
Yeah, I think good move for the Red Wings. They obviously have a lot of improvements to do. But I think, they have some good offense with, why am I blanking on their captain's name? Dylan Larkin.
Mm-hmm.
And then, goaltending was many, aspects where they have to improve upon. And I feel like that's a good move right there. Husso.
So NHL free agency heating up for sure. Last question, Tony, to kind of wrap up this conversation here. Darcy Kumper, where do you think he goes? We mentioned Gorgiev, so it's unlikely that Colorado brings him back after winning the Stanley Cup. I mean, what's the likely landing spot for him?
Well, I mean, obviously, regardless of his role with the team, he won the Cup this year. So I feel like people are going to be looking at him. Teams are going to be looking at him. And I think we said it before the show, Edmonton may be a good spot for him to go to. Just because of, I think in the playoffs, obviously, especially against Colorado, I mean, goaltending was a big issue for them. So they need a better goaltender. I just don't think Mike Smith is going to cut it. And I think Darcy may land in Edmonton.
Yeah. I would love to see it, and especially that experience. I think that's what they need. We saw them struggle this postseason. Kind of interesting. Chokri just texted me this. I guess a fan was at the LA Sparks game last night. So on Twitter, Jacques, the poet, a fan behind, and Kyrie was there as well. A fan behind Kyrie at the Sparks game just yelled at him, "When are you going to the Lakers?" Kyrie's response, real soon. This was met with loud cheers by the fans in the lower level. I think it's happening, Tony. I think there's just nowhere else for him to go.
Didn't he just re-up on his
No, he accepted. No, he opted into the last year of his contract, but that was just because no one else would give him that much money. So he just wanted to have most money possible. So being a free agent, now the Nets have to trade him. So it just versus if he was a free agent, he wouldn't even get anywhere close to a $37 million salary.
I mean, do you think the Nets will trade him?
Yeah, I think Cy is tight. Me and Michael talked about it. He is tight. But it's going to be an interesting offseason for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Love these storylines. But yeah, so, I mean, as we wrap it up here, sir, anything else on your mind as we head out into this weekend?
I would say let's go Mets. Keep it at 3.5 tonight. And then your New York Rangers are winning Stanley Cup 2023.
Let's go. We already know Michael's manifesting it. We know the Devils jersey has been burned.
Actually, we're MIA on the Devils jersey still.
Surprised, right?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I don't think Mike really cares about the Devils anymore.
No. He's a Rangers fan. But as always, we really appreciate everybody tuning in, joining the conversation and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe, as well as, check out those archives. Tony in costume, of course. Tony in costume. A lot to watch there. Tony in costume. And as well as the new summer collection. At Downtime TV. As well as the summer collection. So I want everybody to enjoy this wonderful weekend. Yankees and Mets. Let's take care of business. Rangers, keep building towards that Stanley Cup next year. And we will see you on Monday.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.